if you had to give like 1 or 2 words to describe all of lesson 4, what do you think lesson 4 was about in like a 1 or 2 word summary? What was it all about? 1 or 2 word summary. Think about what you read yesterday. Lainey, what would you say?
It's like learning about metamorphosis and strengths and how they...
That's a lot more than 1 or 2 words. Okay, metamorphosis would work. It was mostly about metamorphosis. What is metamorphosis? What's another name for, like, because not everything goes through metamorphosis. Kinley?
It changes.
So what's a better word? Life cycle. Okay, it's about life cycles. More specifically, it talked about metamorphosis. Do we go through metamorphosis? No, but do we have a life cycle? Yeah, it's just a type of life cycle. Aiden, let him just put it down. Brennan, just put him down and goodbye. It's headphones, okay? It doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to fill in these notes. If you think you need actually, everybody go ahead and get your books open. You're going to help me come up with the definitions. I believe it was around page 127 is where it started. Who thinks they can give me a good definition for metamorphosis? Good definition for metamorphosis. Jackson?
The process of an animal changing from during its life cycle is called metamorphosis.
Okay, but it doesn't say from, it says form. So it's the process of animals changing form during its life cycle. So let's write that. The process of animals changing form during its life cycle. We're going to add some bullet points under that. How does metamorphosis usually happen? In what? What was the word that they used? Usually happens in different blanks. Kinley? Stages, okay? Metamorphosis, it's a series of stages. Okay? Get rid of this. Let's see what just happened there. Still recording. Thank you.
Yep.
Tell her I already had it in my folder, or in my binder.
Oh, yeah.
Try that again. Okay, you already have the top part. Series of stages. Try again. Okay, it's a series of stages. And something I want to make sure you know is that it looks different from baby to adult. Okay, that's the easiest way to decide if something goes through metamorphosis. Okay, when Gabe was a baby, did he still look like Gabe? Yeah, has he changed a little bit? But if I had to guess, if he had hair, actually, were you a bald baby? You don't know. If Gabe had hair, what color do you think his hair was? White. Okay, but that's not always true because Kinley had black hair when she was born. Okay, she no longer has black hair. But when you are born, you still look like yourself. You look the same as a baby as you do an adult. a ladybug, or not a ladybug, a butterfly. Does a butterfly look like a butterfly when it's born?
No.
No, it looks completely different. It doesn't look like a little cute butterfly, just in a smaller body. It looks like a whole different thing. Why? Because it is a whole different thing, okay? Things that go through metamorphosis, that's how you can tell. They don't look the same as babies as they do as adults. Okay, that's the easiest way to tell if something goes through metamorphosis. So what about a cat? Does a baby cat look like a big cat? Yeah, just in a bigger body. So do you think cats go through metamorphosis? No, they do not. Okay. Next, the question says, two kinds of animals. What are two kinds of animals that go through metamorphosis? And this is like an entire species classification. Emma? What'd you say? A bee fits into one of these categories. It's just that's a very specific. Carter? That fits into the same category as a bee. They have 6 legs. Addie? Insects. Insects. All insects go through metamorphosis. There's another one. Mason? Amphibians. Good job. Insects and amphibians. Which amphibian are you most knowledgeable about their life cycle, Jackson? A frog. Does a baby frog look like a big frog?
No.
Why not? Because a baby frog is a tadpole, a whole different thing. Okay? A whole different thing. So it goes through metamorphosis. That's the easiest way to tell. The ones that they would ask you about are ones that you're familiar with. Butterflies, frogs. Do you guys know what a baby bee looks like? No. Me neither. Okay, they would ask you about ones, but in general, insects and amphibians go through metamorphosis. They all look slightly different as young or as babies. What is an amphibian? Most of you can give me examples. Kinley?
An animal that's born in the water.
Okay, I agree with that. So and the book says small vertebrates. What's a vertebrate versus an invertebrate? Carter? Backbone. So which one do you think does have a backbone? Which one do you think does not? There's invertebrates and vertebrates. What'd you say? Invertebrates. You think they do or do not?
He said the vertebrates.
Oh, the vertebrates have a backbone or do not? They do. What does the prefix in mean?
Not.
Not. Okay, so invertebrate means not backbone. They do not have a backbone. Amphibians do though, so they are small vertebrates. Small vertebrates that need water or a moist environment to survive. What's included in that group? Gabe? Frogs. So some examples are frogs. Kinley? Salamanders. Augie? I don't know.
Yes.
Newts? Newts? Yes. Not fish. Another name for a frog. It's not a frog, but it's like a frog. It's like crocodile, alligator. What's the difference? There is one, but no one can remember. Yeah, I know. A is pointy, alligator pointy, crocodile, C is rounded. Aiden? Toad. You can get warts from toads, not frogs, right? Is that?
You can't get warts from toads.
I don't know the difference between frogs and toads.
Toads are bumpy.
Frogs aren't bumpy. Okay. Shh. I'm not a zoologist or an amphibianologist, nor do I want to be one. Okay, would you expect to find more amphibians living in a rainforest or in a desert, and why, Braylon? Would you expect to find more amphibians living in a rainforest or a desert, and why? Why? Yes, they have to have water. So rainforest. And it's because there is more water. And they need water to survive. So what reptile looks like a newt, but it's not an amphibian, it's a reptile. So you typically find them in deserts, not in rainforests. You might have seen some in St. Thomas, who knows? Kinley? Lizards. When you go to warmer places, you usually see a lot more lizards. So do you think reptiles need as much water as amphibians? No, but do reptiles need water? Yes. Every living thing needs water. That's about all I know about reptiles. Is when I go to warm places, there's more of them. You need to hide in the corner more, Miss Megan. Okay, next one. So when we were talking about this, they talked about two different types of metamorphosis. Okay, they're both metamorphosis. It's just two different types of metamorphosis. So they're both a process of animals changing form. What is complete metamorphosis, Aiden? Okay, so let's actually fill these two out together. We're going to do it in bullet points. He said complete metamorphosis has 4 stages. How many stages does incomplete metamorphosis have, Bryson? 3. If you can remember that one of them is 3 and one of them is 4, what can help you remember which one's 4 and which one's 3? Elise? Addie? Yeah, because 4 is bigger, and if something is incomplete, you would expect that number to be lower than a complete cycle. Okay? What else can we tell about these two types of metamorphosis, besides how many stages there are? Elise? Okay, let's talk about the 4 stages. What do they both have? What do they both start out as? Eggs. They both start as eggs. Okay, they both start as eggs. What does the complete go to after the egg? Carter? Larva. Let's just finish this one. After the larva, Hutley? The pupa. Pupa, and then we finally get to the adult. What's the middle stage on incomplete?
Larva.
Did it call it larva in the book?
Yeah.
Okay. Larva. And then what? Adult. What was another name it gave for the word larva in the incomplete? Did anybody see another word? It started with an N. Kinley? A nymph. Under larva here, put nymph. N-Y-M-P-H. It's kind of a really weird word. It's just another name for the larva stage. Complete metamorphosis. This is where they look, it's a complete change from one stage to the next. Ooh, that's bad. From one stage to the next. Those are the ones we're most familiar with, like butterflies. Complete change from one to the next. The other insects look different from when they're born till they're adult, but it's not like their nymph stage looks more comparable to the adult. Complete metamorphosis, every stage looks different. You have a caterpillar, you have a cocoon, then you have a butterfly. They all look different. So in this one, we'll put larva or nymph. Larva looks similar to adult. To answer the last question, what is the difference between complete and incomplete metamorphosis? What do you think we're going to do to answer that question? What's the other piece of paper you have? What is that thing called? A Venn diagram. So we're going to write, look at Venn diagram. Look at Venn diagram. We need a lot more space than that little box gives us. Okay, and I don't have that handout where I can pull it up, but I can draw a Venn diagram on the whiteboard. Does everybody have this written down? Okay, look at Venn diagram. Okay, let me get this up real quick. So pull your Venn diagram to the top. I think I can do it. Okay, so that's similar to yours. Yours is a little bit prettier, has a few more things. On the left side, what do you have? Complete? Someone tell me either one similarity or one difference. One similarity or one difference. Addie B. Okay, complete has 4 stages. Gabe?
Incomplete has 3 stages.
Incomplete has 3 stages. Jackson?
Complete goes from egg to larva to pupa to adult.
Okay, so again, egg. Say it again, egg, larva,
Pupa, and adult.
pupa, adult. Fisher?
Complete metamorphosis goes from egg to larva to adult.
Egg, larva, adult. Lexi, anything else that's different? Elise, let her use her brain. Okay, both of them could be called nymph, but it's usually reference towards incomplete metamorphosis. So usually this one, we could also call it a nymph. Okay, let's just add that in. One more thing, Elia?
A larva could look like a adult.
Okay, in incomplete, the larva or the nymph looks like the adult. How is that different than complete? How is that different than complete, Kinley? So each stage looks different. So that obviously the egg looks different than the larva looks different than the pupa looks different than adult. So each stage looks different. We're missing something. You guys are really good on the differences. And I know this said differences, but what's the same? Aiden, what do they have in common?
They can both be amphibians or reptiles.
Okay, so they both happen in insects. And what? Did you say reptiles? Yeah. What's it supposed to be? Starts with an A.
Insects.
That's an I.
Amphibians.
Amphibians. I don't know. I don't think I spelled that right. Amphibians. I-A-N-S. P-H-I-B-I-A-N-S. Insects and amphibians. Gabe?
They both go through metamorphosis.
But we're comparing complete and incomplete, so they are both types of metamorphosis. They are both types of metamorphosis. We'll just abbreviate that one. Metamorphosis is. But what is a metamorphosis? Kinley? Yeah, kind of like a life cycle, okay? Both types of metamorphosis, both are types of metamorphosis or kind of life cycles. Okay, they're both changes from birth to adult, from beginning to end. Okay, I want everybody to get out your science folder. I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, so I'm going to make a list of what you should have. You should have a lesson 1 notes. Lesson 1 notes that has the giant flower on it. Okay, it says chapter 3, lesson 1 notes / vocab. If you have that, I want you to put it face down in a pile next to you. And then find the chapter 3, lesson 1 quiz. Chapter 3, lesson 1 quiz. It also had a flower at the top of it. Chapter 3, lesson 1 quiz. Put it face down on top of your lesson 1 notes. Next, we had a chapter 3, lesson 2 check. This was the book one that we just went over together, and you fixed it as we went over it together. It says words to know at the top. And if you look in the real small, there's a butterfly in the top right that says chapter 3, lesson 2 check. The words were adaptation, mutation, and succession. Okay. Put that one in your stack face down. That should be your third paper. Oh, sorry. This one can go together. Chapter 3, lesson 2, and 3 notes. 2 was on the front, 3 was on the back. That can go in your stack. So it would look just like the paper we just filled out, but it was lesson 2 on the front, 3 on the back. Oh, shoot. Found another one that's going to go to the front of our stack. This one says chapter 3, lesson 1, open book check-in. Where do you think that one should go? Probably towards the front after the lesson 1 notes. So lesson 1, we're just kind of putting these in order. Next, find your little half sheet on learned behaviors and instincts and your chapter 3, lesson 3 worksheet that I just passed back. Put those 2 down. That's our lesson 3 stuff. And then the 2 things we just completed are our lesson 4 stuff. So then grab your stack. Grab your stack and we'll go back through it. You should have 3 papers from lesson 1. You should have lesson 2 notes and a lesson 2 worksheet. The lesson 3 notes are on the back of the lesson 2 notes, so that one's kind of hard to find. And then your half sheet, your lesson 3 worksheet, and then the 2 pieces of paper we just filled out. Okay? Put those all together in your red folder. That's not included in chapter 3. That was just extra stuff. Okay? Keep it in your red folder, but it's not included. Okay, on Friday. On Friday, we are having a chapter 3 test. Today is only Tuesday. Okay? How many lessons are there? 4. We just finished the lesson 4 notes, and it was the last lesson in the book. You have 3 nights to start studying this. My suggestion is break it up, okay? You're pretty familiar with the flower stuff. Maybe do lessons 1 and 2. Study those vocabulary and those sheets tonight. Tomorrow night, study lesson 3. The next night, study 4. Or do 1 and 2 tonight. Study 3 and 4 tomorrow night. And on Thursday, do a combination of all of them. We're going to be reviewing in class also. But don't wait till Thursday night to start studying. Okay? Does that all make sense? Okay. So we have 10 minutes left. Let's go through some of the questions from the book. You know, I didn't forget about those. I know. It's good for you to think about, but I don't always love the questions in the book. They still make you think a little bit, though. Okay. On page 127. Nope, don't toss that. On page 127, it asked us to compare the cat's growth to insects' growth. What did you have that was the same? What was in the middle of your Venn diagram? Fisher? They both have a life cycle. Do you have your book? Where is it? Go get it. Hurry up. Okay, they both have a life cycle. So in the middle of your Venn diagram, you should have that those are both a life cycle. What's different about a cat's growth? Addie B? Yeah, they look like small cats. Kittens look like small cats. So do they go through metamorphosis if the babies look like the adults? No. Nope. So the kittens look like small cats. How are insects different, Bryson?
They grow and develop from a metamorphic.
Through a process of metamorphosis. Yeah, they go through metamorphosis. Go through metamorphosis. Good job. Insects go through metamorphosis. Number 2 said, do the young bees shown go through metamorphosis? Now, look at the top picture. Look at the bottom picture. Do those look the same?
No.
No. So, Jace, do bees go through metamorphosis? If that top picture is a baby bee and the bottom picture is an adult bee, do they go through metamorphosis?
Yes.
Yes. How do we know? How do we know just by looking at that picture? Emma?
Because they don't look like.
Yeah, they look different in each stage. So, do the young bees shown go through metamorphosis? Explain. Yes, and we can just put the young does not look like the adult. I should probably be writing these. I don't know how to get rid of the Venn diagram. So yes, the young, or something along those lines, doesn't look like the adult. Okay, turn the page. 128. Number 3 said, how does a frog go through metamorphosis? Fisher. So an egg, okay. Okay, so they're an egg. They hatch into a what? Into a tadpole. Okay, they hatch into a tadpole. Eventually, the tadpole starts to develop lungs and loses its tail and gets legs. So it begins to develop lungs and grow legs. In parentheses, I'm going to put loses tail. Then what? Bryson? What comes next? Addie? Okay, yeah, so its gills quit working. So when it develops the youngs, it's kind of one's coming in, one's going out, and what's our end result? A frog. Okay, so starts as an egg, it hatches into a tadpole. Over some time, the tadpole starts developing lungs, quits using its gills, its legs start to form, its tail goes away, and then it is a full adult frog. Then you kind of had the life cycle. On the bottom of page 128, that was the adult. So let's go, where's number 1? Step 1 says the egg. Eggs are laid in water. So number 1, where it said egg, okay, eggs are laid in water. Eggs are laid in water. Then it went to stage 2, the tadpole. The tadpole has blank and a tail.
Gills?
It has gills. Okay, the tadpole has gills and a tail. And then we go to stage 3. It says the young tadpole grows legs and its blank shortens. Emma K? Tail. And its tail shortens. Go to 4. Stage 4 says, the young tadpole develops lungs and stops getting oxygen through its, Aliyah? Gills. And then we get over to the adult frog. Do we have to fill in? The adult frog looks blank than it does in its tadpole stage. Mason? Different. Good job. Okay, and they usually try and focus on that life cycle because that's one you guys are familiar with. How are the larva and the pupa similar? How are they different? How are they similar? Where are they both located in the life cycles? Yeah, they're both in the middle of the egg and adult form of whatever insects they're in. We'll stop there. We can finish this tomorrow. I know you guys are looking forward to that. What should you do tonight for science? Study something. Do I care if you study lesson 4 vocab, lesson 3, 2, or 1? No, but should you study one of those? Yes.